Hello, I'd like to show you my newest shell that I've got. Made this one out of eastern red cedar. I like the colors in it. Hope that it doesn't fade too much with this kind of finish. I've got a new process that I updated to do this. I use patterns now that are double-sided. I'll just take the pattern, and it's got the pattern for both sides of the wedge, and it's folded. It's got a crease in it, and I'll draw a picture to demonstrate what I'm talking about. These are your wedges, and draw 3 of them, and the cross section of the pattern, the wall thickness is going to be something like this. And the reason I decided to make it double-sided is to a couple of reasons. First, to eliminate some alignment issues. When you're putting these things together, you know, if there's a little bit of misalignment between two segments, and there's 24 segments to make up the shell, 12 in each half, it can add up to quite a bit of misalignment, you know, when you get them all glued together. So when you put together the halves, you know, it could be quite a bit, and it may just not work. And so this eliminates all of that. And the way it does that is the toner from the pattern is transferred onto the wood, and we don't have to glue a paper pattern onto the wood. Just the transfer of the toner, you know, puts the pattern on the wood. So what happens, I'll cut these out, and one of the new benefits is you don't need a scroll saw to make these. I cut some of these out with just a jeweler's saw with a spiral blade in it, and I'll cut each segment, you know, offset the pattern lines a little bit to make it extra thick and have plenty of material to carve. And what I'll do is I will just take a rotary tool, and I will carve down to a line on the same side of each segment, you know, to remove this little bit of material right here. And that leaves this edge on this segment, you know, shaped exactly to the pattern line. And on the bottom of this segment next to it, I've still got the toner to match it up with, and it's still there when I glue it together. And that's going to eliminate a lot of the alignment issues, and it'll eliminate having to glue the paper to the wood. And so that's what the new method is all about. The patterns, like I said, it's just a sheet of paper, and it's folded, and the crease of the fold will go over the sharp edge of each wedge. And then I'll use acetone, or you can use a wood burning iron to transfer the lines from the pattern directly onto the wood. So thank you for watching. I hope that you'll like and subscribe to this video channel. And I've got patterns on my website. This is the first one using this updated process. The older ones still have the older process, but the shells that I make in the future will be made with this new process. So my website is up here, spiralswithsteve.com. And thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the video. So this is the setup that I've got for planing the triangular wedges. I've got the router mounted in a piece of, used to be a board for a shelf, and it's got a 1-inch diameter bit for meant for surfacing. This is the part that the wood attaches to. It's just a heavy piece of plywood to make it rigid, and it's got these triangles on each end to determine the angle of the wedge. These are 15 degrees, and the way the wood is held on is through a suction. This line goes off to a vacuum pump, and here's the hole where it comes through the board, and it's got these pieces of plywood, so when the seal is compressed, it doesn't compress fully. The wood comes to rest on top of these pieces instead of just mashing it real hard. So it's got something solid to rest against, and it's not a mushy contact. It's becomes good and solid. So I'll attach a piece onto here. Here's one that I've got. I've already done one side of it. It makes it nice and flat. Makes full contact on a flat surface. But the other side is it's got bandsaw marks on it. But this jig will true it up, make it real nice and smooth. So I will demonstrate how it works. Rather than moving the bit height up and down, you can slide the wedge back and forth on this jig to adjust its height. I know about how much sticks out. Turn the vacuum on. And now it's stuck on there. And this surface will be parallel to these surfaces here that are on the triangles. This one got bumped into the cutter a couple of times, but it's still good and flat. So the first cut, with the bit spinning counterclockwise, I'll move the piece, from right to left, and the bit will cut into the wood, pushing in on the sharp edge so it doesn't destroy it. It'll leave a nice clean edge. And then these marks here, the way I know where I'm at, I'll keep this edge lined up with each mark for each pass, then I'll bring it down to the next one, and so forth till I reach the other side of the board. But let me turn my dust collector on, and I will demonstrate. is pretty much perfectly aligned, parallel to the plane of this board, and so there's no steps. And it gives a really, really nice finish. I think that's probably the best way I know to surface these. And that's exactly 15 degrees, and it works really, really well. Maybe hard to see against this color of wood, but the line's transferred well enough to see it. So that's the acetone transfer. Working around the knots where they're not included in the segment. That's probably the easiest way I know to transfer the pattern onto the wood. After I got the patterns transferred onto the wood, the next thing I need to do is deal with this edge. Being that it's only a 15-degree angle, the thin edge is very fragile, and so I'm going to reinforce it with some CA glue. I'm going to use the thin viscosity, and the way I do this is just lay the tip on there and raise it up so that the capillary action will wick the glue down to the edge, and the end of the tip will be, you know, about a 1/4 inch or so in from the edge, and we'll just go down like this. This will soak into the wood and make it a lot stronger, so when the blade, you know, when the parts are being cut out and the blade goes through that edge, it won't chip it or split it. You know, it becomes a lot more solid with this. And it's probably good enough just to do one edge, but you can do both sides if you like. And let that soak in. And then I'll hit it with accelerator to freeze it. And that makes that edge a lot more durable, less likely to split. and some sticky tape. There we go. When putting these together, I've got the outline that was on the bottom side of the cut. That's still on the wood. And I've got the two reference ends, and they should line up. So I'll get those into position. And then I'll put this on top of the tape. It'll act as a hinge. It also keeps the CA glue off my fingers. Just put it in there like that. And then need a shield. Got my accelerator. I don't want you to get on that half because it'll make it harden too fast. And then this works a whole lot faster than wood glue. The glue won't stick to this. So if it did leak out, you don't want it to be glued to the workbench. Shouldn't take long for that to set. And that's already set. I'll glue those up into pairs, and then the pairs will be glued up into pairs or groups of 4. And after I get them glued into groups of 4, I'll do some sanding on the interior where the joints meet to smooth it out while it's still accessible. going to make a drum sander for sanding the interior, and it needs to be soft and conformable so that it can it'll work better than if it's harder. So I've got this 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch sanding drum, and it's got the nut that tightens down to expand the rubber drum, and I just want to have it, you know, where it's not compressing. And then after I make it, I will tighten it down, and that will secure it. So I'm going to wrap this sandpaper. I'm using cloth back sandpaper. It works a lot better than paper backed. And with a little bit of luck, I can roll it on there straight, going off to this side. That's getting off to the side. Here we go. 2 or 3 wraps. 2 or 3 wraps should be good. I got a piece of nylon string that I unraveled. I'll just tuck the end under there. And then I'm going to use thin CA glue and try not to glue my fingers to it. I didn't come up with this idea. I saw it in a magazine. I can't remember which one it was. So that's already set. And then tighten it down. I need a pair of pliers or a wrench. Okay, I'm back. Decided just to use my hand drill instead of a flex shaft. My drill press is on the other side of the shop, and I'm all set up over here, so I don't have to reach too far in with it, so this will be good enough. The sander needs to be flexible, and all the cutting it's going to be doing is with the end mostly. So the end of the drum, you know, is in there an inch or so, and that gives it more flexibility, so it can conform to the shape. I forgot to make a video clip showing you how the halves are flattened, but here's that process showing how the halves are trimmed with a router on a different shell.